This show is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. We've been taught that having negative emotions is bad, but feeling angry, sad, or overwhelmed is normal. Visit BetterHelp.com/allies and learn to process those difficult emotions.
Hello. Hello. You made it look so easy. Welcome to the Easy Allies podcast. I'm Daniel Bloodworth. I expect 3 people to get that reference at most without looking it up. I want to give a shout out to Chris Leroux for updating our graphics this week. And I'm joined by Ben Moore.
Shock and awe.
Brad Ellis.
Hey. Hey.
And in the control room, Isla Hink and Don Casanova.
I see you've onboarded the comments about starting it with NPR voice in the most bizarre way.
I don't know. Almost all of those comments are just from you, but okay.
Right, that's what I meant. Yeah, those are the only comments I'm aware of.
Friends, we're here to discuss some of the biggest headlines in video games this week. We're going to talk about Death Stranding 2, which is apparently happening. We're going to talk about V Rising, selling like crazy.
Yeah, that game's cool.
Yeah, and PlayStation's got some big moves for the future. But before we do that, we must answer for the mistakes we made in the last episode. Isla, begin corrections music, please.
Boop.
So, sort of a correction to a correction, maybe a clarification, because it wasn't entirely incorrect. But diuretics do increase the flow of urine, but too much of a diuretic can also lead to diarrhea.
I knew it!
Source, I work for a vet.
Sounds like an interesting podcast last week.
It actually goes back a couple weeks, but yeah. I had asked about whether prominent PlayStation IP had any presence on mobile, and there have been a few. Uncharted Fortune Hunter came out in 2016 and was actually just shut down in March. Ratchet & Clank Before the Nexus came out in 2014, and Run Sackboy Run came out in 2015. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot else, though. I looked at the PlayStation mobile profile on Google Play, and most of the titles are like companion apps for MLB The Show. Remember all the PlayLink games that Sony did a while back, trying to like jump onto the Jackbox thing?
Right.
And then there's this God of War AR thing called Mimir's Vision. I've never heard of half of this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's basically like you look at the map of God of War and like click on things and get lore, and that's pretty much the whole.
Okay. All right. Was there a Wipeout game too?
Somebody had mentioned that, but I didn't look that one up. I didn't see it on there, but I think that there is one.
But yeah.
Yeah. And then we kind of gave Sony a pass on not including any Vita games in the PlayStation Plus. But someone pointed out that PlayStation TV exists. There's all these games that you can just play on a TV. There's no reason to be limited by touchscreen except for maybe select titles.
That's true, Bloodworth. Maybe, hopefully down the line.
Yeah. I said there was no Little Big Planet on the list, but I was looking at the PS3 list. I forgot back on the PS4 list was Little Big Planet 3.
Oh, yeah.
So I was just too far down on the list. I didn't look back up. Isla said Godric or Godfrey was at the round table hold, telling her where to go. Those are both bosses.
Listen, this isn't my fault.
Ouch.
This is Gurm's fault. Also, spoiler.
Spoiler.
And then I stopped talking.
Okay. She clearly meant Gideon.
I meant Gideon.
Yeah.
All-knowing. Obviously, all-knowing. Ouch.
If you have a correction, leave it in the YouTube comments. You can leave that on either the public version of the podcast or the Patreon version that has no ads and some extra love and respect questions. Use the word correction and put a timestamp in there so I know what the heck we were talking about. Because
there'll be no corrections next week.
Yeah. We tend to forget
Zero.
what we were talking about.
Zero.
End corrections music.
Boop.
All right. First off, a bit of an unintentional announcement. In an expansive interview with Leo magazine, largely focused on the end of The Walking Dead, Norman Reedus was asked about his involvement with Death Stranding and Hideo Kojima and indicated that a Death Stranding sequel is in the works.
Yeah.
Quote, "It took me maybe 2 or 3 years to finish all the mocap sessions and everything. It takes a lot of work. And then the game came out and it just won all these awards and it was a huge thing. So we just started part 2 of that." So yeah, just
Super loose.
What if
Norman
he's talking
Reedus.
about PT?
That is so loose. Like, as the lead character, how I don't know. I don't know. How
Maybe
that
because he
happens.
comes from the TV world and it
Maybe.
seems like less, strict about keeping things tight. Maybe. But at the same time, if it's if Norman Reedus like accidentally blew up my car or something, I couldn't be mad at him. I was
Yeah.
it's all right, Norman.
That's what I was
it's
going to
fine."
say. I feel like Norman Reedus kind of has that loose vibe,
Yeah.
where it's just like, oh, there he goes
He'd probably
again.
be like, "Oh, sorry, dude," and like really mean. It's like,
yeah.
I can't be mad at you, Norman. It's all right, dude.
did you see though the tweet that Kojima put out that
Yeah,
day?
it was like the walking with him kneeling down.
Yeah,
with the bat.
yeah,
Yeah, that was awesome.
I did not see that, but that sounds awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's really good.
Yeah, it was a really funny response. And obviously he must have taken those photos a long time ago.
Yeah, it was excellent.
But the leading question here that I think we all kind of have on our minds is, do we actually want another Death Stranding?
I do not, which sounds negative, but it really isn't. I think what I like about Death Stranding is how weird and unique it is. And of course, Death Stranding 2 would also be unique, but I don't know. I don't think everything needs a sequel. And so Death Stranding was so weird and like kind of this perfect celebration of Kojima's independence that I would be much more excited if he's like, okay, we're going to go this new direction now. Like we're going to do a totally different genre, a totally new world, totally new characters. I can imagine after the response, like Norman was saying, after the response to Death Stranding, maybe you feel energized and excited and like all that time you spent developing this thing, you want to continue it. And so I get that impulse. But I feel like Death Stranding was its own singular thing. And it's hard for me to get over that. But
What I'm
The Last of
finding-
Us also felt that way. So-
Right.
Very true.
What I'm finding myself wishing for, because I agree completely, but if they are going to do it, what I hope for is something just in the world, but very different. Like, it's like you play as like a mother in this world trying to find her kid or whatever, like completely different. And like maybe years later, like 20, 30 years later, which could have some fun implications. Like, but something set in the world that isn't about delivering packages would be cool.
Yeah, that's where one of the things that gets kind of interesting and tricky for me, though, is it's like, okay, is the concept of Death Stranding the world, or is the concept this crazy, like, hiking simulator?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
what is
Play.
the part of the thing that
The
is going to
Strand
continue?
genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think even more so than the delivery part, I think the beating heart of Death Stranding is your interaction with other players. And like that was so cool in Death Stranding and implemented in such a unique way where if like they want to expand on that, right, outside of just the context of deliveries or what we saw in Death Stranding 1, that could be really cool.
I'm personally okay with a sequel. Like, I think I'd be more excited if it was something new, but Death Stranding was insane. I mean, all of Kojima's games are insane. So I'm kind of like curious to see what they'll do to separate this game from part one, especially if they lean into like the horror aspects more of this.
Right.
Like, I'm into that.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I kind of do have concerns with is, part of the appeal of that game, when you were seeing it in previews and all of that, and even just starting and getting into it, it's just like you're unraveling the mystery of like what is happening. And it feels like, even if it is still a little bit like obfuscated, by the time you get to the end of the game, most of that stuff makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense to you, you can look up somebody who will try to explain it to you.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that are like I don't want to spoil, but it's sort of like, well, you've kind of ended all of that. So how do you open it back up?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I totally understand people being skeptical, and like I am too, but I don't know. I guess I just feel like if they want to make the game, I'm happy they're able to make the game. And if they feel like they have something to tell, I want to see what it is. But if it'll end up actually feeling worth it in the end, I don't know. And maybe they're working on another game too. Who knows?
That's actually something I think is very realistic. Because if he's saying we just started.
Right. They've been... I know there's
I don't think
director's
Kojima's been
cut.
sitting around.
Yeah, I know they did director's cut and all that,
game.
but yeah, they might have another game.
Well, and also like little inside baseball, I guess, but like we got several copies of Death Stranding incredibly early, and they were like, there won't be a day one patch, game's done, it's fine. And
Right.
That's like so rare. Like it didn't take them very long to make that game, like kind of comparatively for its size. And when it got to us, it was just done and ready. And that was like a month and a half before release or something. It was like crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think another thing that I really felt consuming Death Stranding is, and I'm of two minds about it, but like on one hand, I appreciate the absolute eccentric nature of Kojima and how I can never quite predict where he's going to take me. But at this point, that eccentric nature is so built into his brand that like it being crazy is like kind of boring at this point. You know what I mean? Where like some of those long conversations, some of those crazy moments, it's just like you've done this in the same way before, right? And so if that Death Stranding 2 trailer comes out and it's like, I have no idea what's going on, it's like, that will feel par for the course, you know what I mean? And so I think that's something that's also like weirdly dangerous is I want to be able to look at something and not immediately go like, oh, this has Kojima all over it in the same way. I still want it to be his game. I still want him to have ownership over it. But, you know, like if it's along the lines of Baby giving a thumbs up, like I've been down that path before.
Yeah, totally. Like, you know, weird can only carry you so far, I guess. I guess I'm more interested in what he'll do for gameplay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Instead of story.
Yeah.
But
because you know, director's cut is a weird thing to me because it's like as much as I love that game and as much time as I put into it, like when that director's cut came out, I was like, yeah, I don't see myself hopping back in, even though it looks like there's significant things. I mean, even before director's cut, like they just kept adding gameplay elements to that game. So you know, and they were like, what? They put racing in there,
Right? Yeah.
Wild.
That's the thing, like the balancing mechanics, the combat got better, the vehicle stuff, like the beached things, all the gameplay mechanics are so cool that you could make like 18 different games out of any one of those mechanics and it would be fun and rewarding. So I think they could explore a lot more in that world. I don't want it to just be literally the same thing again.
Right.
Because we don't need it.
Well, and then the other thing too is just like Kojima is locked in to Metal Gear.
Yeah.
And how many
So
times
long.
did he
Right.
say, I'm all right, I'm done. And then
Right.
the money just made him come back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
true.
that's honestly, I think that's where a lot of my feeling is coming from is, you know, seeing him having to slave away at Metal Gear for so long where it's like, dude, you can do anything. You can do anything, but at the same time, if this is what he wants to do, more
Yeah.
power to him.
He did
That's
Zone of
why-
Enders, right? Did he do both of them?
He worked on Zone of the Enders 1 and 2.
Okay.
That's why I was so surprised by this news. I was like, really? You could do anything and you're going to do the same thing you used to do? Just the same stuff over
Yeah.
and over?
I don't know. Yeah.
I want to say he was producer on Zone of the Enders, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
I'll
yeah.
check.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think it's, like we were saying, I think that there's a chance that there's another game in between.
Seems to be like with most big studios nowadays.
Yeah. And then, spoiler for it, we want to jump to the next thing. actually like have a time jump? Will we see
Possibly, yeah.
a grown-up BB?
Yeah, that
Maybe,
that was
dude.
what I was gonna. That was what I was kind of thinking. Is like you could play as BB.
He's just a big baby. Like he looks exactly the same, but he's
Well,
of an adult height.
Since we're in
Or-
spoiler territory, but yeah.
right,
She-
I could see a mech suit for BB, and I'm not kidding.
or
Absolutely,
Or
that's totally
she's-
in line with Kojima.
Or she carries Dorman Ritas around.
Yes.
or she grew up in
That
the,
would be amazing. You
She
just
grew up-
deliver Norman Reedus.
She grew up in the vat, but they didn't take her out of the vat, so the vat's just a helmet now, and so her body is normal, and she has her head in the vats thing.
No, they took her out.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I know blood.
But yeah, I mean, it does, because I had to go back and like rewatch and read some
Yeah, of course.
explanations. Like, how did that
I've
thing
forgotten
end
everything.
again?
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
forgotten
and
everything.
it's somehow like, yeah,
One of the
Including
best-
BB was a she.
somehow Sam's whole thing is like part of what caused all of the Death Stranding and him being reborn and everything. And so it just
Yeah,
like,
it got pretty weird.
yeah, and it's so.
You don't say.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that it's like, okay, well, there are definitely unique aspects to both of these characters that could impact the whatever spiritual significance of all that craziness, and yeah,
Yeah.
could be something entirely different.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Something that I will say about Death Stranding is I feel like a lot of the moments that really hit me and the moments that I walk away from being like, that was some of my favorite stuff in the game, where it was definitely near the end. And so I hope just from a storytelling perspective, it's a little bit more smoothed out.
Right, right.
Oh, designer, okay.
Yeah, Zone of the Enders designers Hideo Kojima and Nobuyoshi. Yeah, you say it.
Nobuyoshi Nishimura.
I'm bad at pronouncing. I'm bad at pronouncing names from everywhere. Yeah. That's what I was gonna say, Ben. Like the one of the best like emotional scenes maybe in video games is toward the end of Death Stranding, where he's like the guy's crying and he like takes off his mask.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like so good. I don't know.
There's also a lot of that, which I wonder, if they just didn't want to go over budget. But there's so much storytelling and then there's just text.
Well,
Yeah.
one of my favorite stories is followed up on via text, and like I think it's like when you reunite these people and then it
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
go the way that they think it's going
Right,
to go.
right.
Yeah.
That stuff was great.
The couple.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was shocking.
Yeah, I wanted more of that.
Definitely interested to see where it will go when this game gets revealed in
And
2.5 years.
I'll be
If
there.
Keeley will be in it again.
Keely will be in it again.
You'll play as Keeley.
Yeah.
I just want him to put Keely in with an eye patch.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my god.
Hello.
We've had a lot of financial news and reports over the past couple weeks, and at first I didn't think I was going to really include this, but there's actually a lot of crazy stuff in PlayStation's new investor relations report, basically talking about the big, bold new directions for where PlayStation is going. So we'll go over like each of these kind of subtopics one at a time. First of all, just some nitty gritty, like PS5 sales compared to PS4. PS5 outsold PS4 in the first year, but then it undersold in year 2 because of the supply constraints. And then Sony expects to close the gap in year 3 and then surpass afterwards. But they put up a chart comparing sales figures in November 2014 versus November 2021. And so in the US, the PS5 sold 80,000 units in 82 minutes. And it took PS4 9 days to sell 80,000
Wow.
at the same point in its life cycle. So they're saying PS5's going at a rate of 1,000 per minute versus PS4 at 6 per minute.
Damn.
In those Novembers.
Business is booming.
Yeah. So you look at that and then you put supply constraints on top of
Yeah,
it.
that's true.
So it's kind of crazy. But then, so the first really big thing is they talked about PC stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, boy.
And so they revealed some sales figures. So Horizon Zero Dawn, which they put out in August 2020, has sold 2.39 million copies. Days Gone, which was almost a year later, May 2021, 852,000. And then God of War, which was this year in January.
Days Gone.
971,000.
Yeah.
and they say that this is the craziest part right here. They expect PC sales to grow from $80 million in fiscal year 21, which is the one that just passed, to $300 million this next fiscal year. So more than 3 times as much. So
You know what would help with that?
yeah.
Bloodborne.
Oh my god.
they're remaking
oh
that
my
game.
god.
Sure, whatever. Just put it on PC.
And they expect half of their annual releases to be on PC and mobile by 2025.
Yep. The gap will shorten. I don't know if it'll be day and date still yet, but probably within a year from now on.
Yes.
Like there was kind of like leaks showing up of Returnal coming now, which was on the Nvidia leak also. The prophecy once again coming true.
As much as I enjoy Days Gone, Returnal deserves your attention so much more.
Right.
Play Returnal. Oh, it's so
Returnal's
good.
really good.
It's really good.
Yeah. And Nixus was one of their purchases in the past couple of years. They had that on there. They had mentioned that too, that like they're not done with mergers and acquisitions.
Yes.
It's easy to forget that PS Now is also on PC.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is going to be coming the new PlayStation Plus stuff. But yeah, you'll be able to keep streaming on PC.
They still got some big guns they haven't released on PC, like Spider-Man. Like that would be huge.
That's a big gun.
That's a big one.
That's a big gun.
I mean, 3 games. I mean, they've released nothing. That's
barely
That's why
anything.
it's funny because it's like their slide said something like exponential growth on PC sales, to be sustained or whatever. I'm like, you have exponential growth because you've only put out 3 games.
Yeah,
You went
exactly.
from 1 game to 2 games to 3 games.
I imagine Last of Us is like on the
Hopefully,
docket.
yeah.
Especially with the Uncharted collection coming.
And those rumors of that Last of Us remaster coming out this year.
My only hope is I'm glad that they're doing all of this, but that the gap closes significantly between PlayStation and PC releases.
Yeah, Returnal would be the smallest gap if that actually does come out this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if they'll get into like a year window from now on.
Right.
Seems to be what they're going to do with their new PS Plus games also. It seems to be like a year gap between them.
But, man, I have to imagine that this double platform release maybe would allow for, like, riskier first-party ideas as well, where it's like, okay, well, this idea maybe isn't going to sell as well as an Uncharted or a Spider-Man or Horizon, but we know, it's going to find moderate success on PlayStation, moderate success on PC. Therefore, we can invest in it.
Ben, you're leaning right into the next point.
Hey.
They're expanding on new IP.
Yay.
So they had this slide up. So they said in 2019, 77% of their titles were existing IP, 23% were new. 2022, 66% were existing, 34% new. By 2025, they want to do 50-50. Half their games, new IP.
That's exactly what they should do. Yeah.
Well, they got how many live service games in the works? Like 10?
Got 12 in development. 2 unannounced live service games are supposed to launch this year. Right now, on their chart, they're saying the only live service game, the only one that they count, is MLB The Show.
Oh, really? Huh.
So that's a big expansion.
Yeah, that's big, yeah. I do hope we get smaller games, though, from them.
If they've already gone on record saying that they want to invest more in live service, and it's like doing that in conjunction with doing new IP makes sense, because why go through the bad press of turning something that isn't live service into live service? So this gives them a clean avenue where they don't have to deal with that expectation or history.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smart. Potentially.
Yeah. Well, and they kind of tried with Destruction All-Stars, right? And
right. Yeah.
Just really, it didn't have the lasting gameplay hook to keep people going.
No, I don't think a game like that.
And it was also a full-price game,
Yeah.
other than the PlayStation Plus release.
Yeah, they'd be better off doing like an IP like SOCOM for free-to-play or something like that, a live service game. Something that like fits more into that market, I guess, already. Mm-hmm. I really hope we get
that wouldn't be new IP. But
I know, but I'm just saying, like, the idea of something like that. I just hope we get more small games like Puppeteer and stuff like that.
Right.
I miss things like that.
Yeah, I want weird Sony stuff. I agree.
Yeah, I feel like we've lost a lot of that since they kind of like diminished Japan Studio.
Yeah. Gravity Rush. Ah.
Yeah, more Gravity Rush would be cool. I'm glad that those are on the PlayStation
I know. I'm
Plus.
really happy about that.
Another interesting fact, they were only talking about PS4, but PS4 digital sales versus disc-based basically flipped since 2013.
Yeah.
So in fiscal year 13, digital sales were 20%, and in 21, now they're 80%. Mm-hmm. So the minority is on buying discs now. Free-to-play games have risen from 5% of PS4 store spending in fiscal year 16 to 25% last year.
Yeah.
So big gains there.
V-Bucks.
Yeah. Although I think they're just talking about first-party stuff.
For first party, like
Yeah.
MLB.
Or no, they're talking about all PlayStation Store. So yeah, actually,
that would be
count
like
V-Bucks for
Call
sure.
of Duty and all that stuff.
Yep,
FIFA
yep.
or whatever.
They talked a little bit about PSVR 2. They're saying they've got over 20 titles.
That's very
Are you ready for launch?
good to hear.
That is good.
Hopefully,
I'm excited about
Astrobot will
that.
be there.
Yeah.
That's
I'm really
the-
hoping for Astrobot
that's
stuff all
the
around.
big one. That'd be huge. Hoping for RE8.
RE Village VR. I was just going to
Yeah.
say that.
Hopefully that.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
That would make perfect sense.
It would make. I bet it's happening.
Was Dreams in PSVR? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll get PS5 support.
Yeah, they're still doing some stuff with Dreams too.
I know, but
Yeah.
like no one. I don't know anyone like that talks about that game like ever.
Right.
Sadly.
I wonder if there's any chance, because with the Silent Hill rumors, there was like there's supposed to be smaller games included in that revival. I wonder if one of those could be a VR experience.
Right.
Sure.
There's supposed to be a Horizon VR game.
Yeah, there
It's
is.
on there.
I forgot
Yeah.
what it's called. Like something of
Mountain something. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a smart idea. If you're putting big IP on your VR, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's something that Sony did a pretty good job of when they launched PlayStation VR, is attaching well-known names to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Call of the Mountain.
That's
Call
what
of
it
the
is,
Mountain.
yeah.
Okay.
Now they just got to get From Software and make Kingsfield, and we're good. Kingsfield
Oh yeah, they
VR.
did that Deracine, right? That you
Yeah.
checked out. Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then more recently this morning, there's more TV shows
Yeah.
in,
a
in
lot.
the works.
A lot.
They're doing a Horizon show with Netflix, a God of War show with Amazon, and then Gran Turismo,
Which is very interesting.
which has not been given a platform, but yeah.
That's the one I want to watch. Out of all of those that you listed, I want to watch the Gran Turismo show, and I want it to be old Japanese men talking about cars
Yeah.
at a cafe.
Yeah.
I think I just saw something today, like a rumor about Neil Blomkamp being attached to direct it. And
Okay.
I was like, what? But okay.
Gran Turismo?
Yeah, I was like, what? But maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, they did GT Academy,
Yeah.
which I think was like part of the Viacom stuff.
Oh,
When
okay.
we were at game trailers.
Yeah.
So I could see it be something like that as well,
Yeah.
more of a reality show.
I
than
want a
than
drama.
fiction.
I wonder if with these shows, if like the creators of the games will be involved, like Neil is with the Last of Us TV show. Like he seems pretty heavily involved
Yeah.
in that. Hopefully.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see what direction they take that.
Yeah.
Because you're saying, like Gran Turismo just has this whole like upscale museum vibe to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It
that
does.
And
it
like,
wouldn't make a lot of sense
Yeah.
for it to be like Fast and the Furious.
yeah.
I want it to like use the PlayStation camera to scan you before you sit down and watch an episode of Gran Turismo. And if you need a shower, it won't let you watch it.
Just like, no.
No.
You have to be clean. You have
You
to
have to
wear
be-
like
you
a
have to be
suit
clean.
to watch that show. You gotta be classy.
And then we mentioned a little earlier, but they said, in terms of future merger and acquisition activity, the answer is that we are not at all finished. The purpose of these investments is to increase our core strength at PlayStation Studios, but also to acquire expertise in areas of game development where historically we have not had a significant presence.
Yep.
So we've talked about PC and what they're doing there. We've talked about mobile and the expansion they're doing there, and live service. But what else do you think that like? What is Sony like also missing that they could have?
Well, they plugged, I guess, FPSs now with Destiny. They have third-person open world, story-driven on lock. They're fine
Yeah,
there.
they're good. They don't need any more of that. Yep.
I think it'd be cool to invest like an RPG team, something like what I think.
An
'cause they had,
in-house
like,
RPG, yeah. 'Cause-
Yeah, they had. What was like the last first party one they had? It was like Legend of Dragoon, maybe. And that was PS1.
I think I feel like this comes up every time we talk about this, but I think Capcom just makes too much sense in a way that maybe some other bigger companies don't. And it's just, I feel like Capcom is already so well associated with the PlayStation brand that
Right.
it would fit in perfectly. And if they're expanding into PC anyway, then they have both of those avenues. There would just be so much power in owning Resident Evil and owning Street Fighter and owning Monster Hunter.
Yeah, it's like they already kind of have fighting games on lock almost, I would say. And if like you get Street Fighter like first party, it's like, damn.
Yeah. Then it'd be another generation of
Yeah.
Street Fighter being console exclusive, but
And then
Maybe
they-
not. Oh yeah, I guess console exclusive, but Destiny's not. And-
true.
So maybe they'll
True.
spread it out.
And then they buy Konami and From Software, and then they just give us all the games we want all the time.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I already get a lot of those games from them. Like, I think about them buying Square Enix. I'm like, they already
Right.
like, have a lot of exclusive games from them.
I want them to buy Konami so that they just
Well,
make
yeah,
games again.
they're not really doing
They
much.
use those IPs that they're not
Yeah.
using. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder, talking about RPGs and having something in house. So like, I wonder if somebody's smaller, like Mistwalker, you know,
Yes, Mistwalker, yeah.
because I feel like that company is like they've got the potential, they just don't have the budget right
Well,
now.
that's actually would be my argument is that I worry that they would be too small for Sony.
Because at one point they were like making big RPGs.
Oh yeah, they
Blue
came out the gate
Dragon and
swinging with Blue Dragon
and Lost Odyssey.
Last Story and
Lost Odyssey too.
Was Lost Odyssey was
Yeah,
in, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was. Yep.
So 3 big ones, but then they've been doing
But that was at the time when
Yeah.
Microsoft was making that push.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, could be cool.
We'll see. I'm very curious what the next
Yeah.
Sony
Hopefully
purchase
it'll
would
make
be.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very interested to see what other PC games come out. What's up, Isla?
I really want to play that Fantasian game.
Yes.
I don't have an Apple thing, so I
Right.
can't.
yeah. I heard that game's great too.
It looks so pretty.
It looks very
I've been meaning
cool.
to
I've been meaning to
really
play
sit
for
down
like
and play.
a year.
It's just like when you have the option of playing something on your phone versus not. It's like it's
Right.
hard to.
Yeah. Oh, one quick thing about the TV shows. The one good thing, I guess, right now is the bar is not very high for live action game TV shows.
No.
Right.
So I think they can do much better than a lot of things.
Well, Twisted Metal's still coming, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of things.
There's
that are
Ghost of
floating around out
Tsushima
there.
movie, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why it's hard to even speculate.
And there
because
was,
I feel
like-
like anything I
Yeah.
speculate about is like, oh, they've already done, already started that,
Already
or
in the works.
Ratchet and Clank they already did.
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
So it's a lot of potential there. Funny, like this isn't even really rumor, but the concept of PlayStation 5 and Xbox Pro models coming up in 2024 was brought up this week.
Yeah.
Checks out.
That's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yep.
Chinese TV manufacturer TCL gave a presentation showing they expect mid-gen console refreshes would be available by 2024, and they expect 8K support and performance equivalent to an AMD Radeon RX 7700 XT.
And we're still gonna be on the same goddamn Switch.
It doesn't sound like this is actual knowledge from Sony and Microsoft's plans. It's just kind of like what they predict based on past trends.
Oh, yeah.
And then some people have pushed back thinking that like by then like the supply shortages would just be evening out. So if anything, like unless somehow the like refresh actually like makes it easier to manufacture, we probably won't see these things until more like late 2024.
I can see that though.
Sure.
But yeah, do you think that like
These are going to happen? Oh, yeah, 100%.
Pro models
Without
in
a
the future?
doubt. Without a doubt. It'll happen.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
Both of them.
There's no question. Yeah.
I mean, we already got 2 Xboxes already, 2 different versions of that already.
Starting out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
what do you
it will
even call the
definitely
next Xbox?
Xbox Series XX. XS. Make it even more confusing.
happen.
Oh my gosh.
You could even do like Series Pro or something.
Series Pro. The only thing is, I
feel
think
that they
Sony
wouldn't
will do that.
Yeah, Sony
PS5
having
Pro.
last time, yeah.
Ultra Pro. Extreme Pro.
Xbox Series One X.
Yes. It's perfect. Series 1X.
No one will
S.
be confused.
No one will be confused.
Sequence X.
Sequence.
Xbox Series Cloud.
That
Whoa, that's actually
actually
maybe
is
not-
possible.
That's probably not far off.
Well, that's yeah. That we can touch on that now. Yeah, that's another thing that came up. I had that down also this week. So they've been talking about doing like just a cloud box separate from the regular Xboxes, so that people just want to play with their Xbox account on just like any TV, just like a little stick, and then but they told Windows Central that they basically like changed gears right now, and I don't know if that means that they're abandoning the idea of doing a stick or if they're just like going to like re-engineer it or what.
That's what I think it meant to me.
Yeah, but here's basically what they said about it, and it's been codenamed Keystone. They said, "We have made the decision to pivot away from the current iteration of the Keystone device. We will take our learnings and refocus our efforts on a new approach that will allow us to deliver Xbox cloud gaming to more players around the world in the future." Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I don't know.
Whatever they're doing was not good enough for them.
It's definitely something that they're pursuing.
Yeah,
but
totally.
where it's going to be from here on out, I don't know. But yeah, you guys think that we're now stuck with buying 2 machines every generation?
Yep.
For now, for a little bit, we will be, at least.
I just don't know why you wouldn't do a refresh for so many reasons, right? Like it's a proven model that works. It's something that you've already built into your existing audience to expect. There are many other similar products where they're used to this. It's like
This is, yeah.
yeah, and it's like it with gaming specifically, right? Like you can rally it around like a huge marquee thing. Like there's so much power in being like, yeah, you could play the new Assassin's Creed that's 10,000 hours long on your current PS5, but if you play it on the PS5 Pro, right? Like the audience is primed for that,
Yep.
So it's yeah, I mean you can understandably complain about it. I do not think it's going away.
No. Like, it's already standard in the tech industry already.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
Everyone is already used to doing this.
Yeah. One thing I think is interesting is, at least on the Xbox side, is how they've made that like very seamless. Mm-hmm. Like whether you're playing on an Xbox One or Xbox One S or X or Series S or Series X, like you boot that thing up and it just feels like it's the same device.
Yeah.
It really just comes down to, the specs that make the difference from one
Right,
thing to
yeah, the
another.
interface is like the same and everything.
Almost in a way that's underwhelming. It was like when you first booted it up, it's like, all right, I guess it's my new Xbox.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. When I started up the Series X, I was like, that's the same ass HUD. What's going on? I want a special treat. But no.
Is this something we even want to hear about at this point? It's just like,
Oh, you mean a hardware refresh?
yeah, so many people haven't even gotten the first version.
For me, who was lucky to have one, early, I was like, hell yeah, I'm ready. But I'm an enthusiast, like all of us here, pretty much. We are pretty much always going to go to the next one because we want
Totally.
that.
Yeah, I'm definitely the consumer that always wants my games to look and run as good as they possibly can. And understandably, that is not everyone, and that's okay. But yeah, like I'm there. I accept it. I want it. If you can make it better, this is like the thing I've devoted my life to. I want it to be better.
Yeah, we've been begging Nintendo to do this for forever.
And it's something it seemed like they were going to do when
Yeah.
they first talked about the Switch.
Right, yeah.
So it's kind of surprising that they haven't done more along those lines.
That is what's so weird about this, though, is that, and Yo in chat says that same thing. It's like we've got chip shortages so much that they can't even get out the 8,000 a minute that everyone wants to buy, or whatever it was, 1,000 a minute. It just seems presumptuous to be talking about the next one when you
Right.
can't even supply the current
But I
one.
think
This,
because
this
it's
is
coming
the kind
from
of planning they need to do, though. Like
Yes.
that's how these.
True,
That's how
yeah.
these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that it's because it's coming from a TV manufacturer. It's like they're wanting to sell TVs and they're
Right.
wanting to sell
Yeah.
8K, and so they're like, Yeah. The new consoles, they'll do 8K.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like Sony and Microsoft aren't sitting around and they're like, should we do it, bro? That thing has been in the plans for years. You know?
Yeah.
As soon as they were designing the PS5, they were probably already thinking about the Pro model or whatever.
I think one of the biggest things for me, just not even like a power concern, is just like make these things smaller.
That's what I was just going to
please.
say.
The PS5
Especially
is so
the PS5,
weird.
yeah.
Will it be smaller?
It's so big. Slim it down.
Yeah. And then the other side of that is, obviously this is like 2 years off anyways, but it feels like we haven't even tapped into what these machines
Right,
can
yeah.
do yet.
Yeah.
Nothing feels like super next gen.
Well, but the thing is, that is coming, and COVID threw off everything.
Yeah.
So I think by the time we're going to seriously be talking about these things, that will be less of a concern, naturally. Yeah.
Don't worry, Final Fantasy 16 will feel it. We'll feel it.
God of
man.
War Ragnarok, yeah.
Yeah.
Many things.
Well,
Well, that's
God of War is
cross-gen.
cross-gen.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We haven't even abandoned the PS4 yet.
For now.
Yeah, but I'll be playing.
Yeah.
What else Ben's been playing? V Rising.
V Rising.
Brad, did you jump into this
No,
yet?
I installed it, but I haven't played it yet.
Okay. So, total surprise hit. It's sold over 1 million in the first week, 500,000 just in the first 3 days. You might not have even heard of this. I didn't hear about it until Frame Trap, so we're going to have Don run some B-roll here, just so you get the launch trailer, so you get an idea what this game looks like. Basically a vampire-themed survival game.
Yes, that's exactly correct.
Yeah, launched in early access last Tuesday on the 17th from Stunlock Studios in Sweden. They only have 35 people on that team.
Yeah, they said they understandably did not expect it to be such a big hit.
right.
But I think the elevator pitch that I would say for anybody curious about checking this out is how it incorporates being a vampire into the survival elements in a really interesting way, where, like, yes, of course you have to go and forage for materials, but if it's sunlight, right, you have to dart between trees to hide in the shadows. And like when you feed on things, the type of blood that you consume will give you different abilities, and there's all sorts of stuff like that. But I've really enjoyed the time that I've put into it. But I think what's even more telling about this story is I wouldn't have found out about it if I didn't log into Twitch and see a bunch of big streamers playing it.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that's
okay.
how I got curious about it. And I imagine that is exactly why this game is on the rocket trajectory that it is. You know, you get Shroud, who is addicted to V Rising, or at least it's what his title says, right? And he's playing it regularly, or Lyric or whoever, right? These big names, and like nothing puts a game on a map these days faster than that. And
Yeah.
like no traditional video game outlet has a
kind of
fraction
power.
of the power
Right.
of big streamers. Yeah.
It was like Vampire Survivors kind of blew up also
Yep.
like that. And it
Yep.
reminds me of like Valheim, just blowing up.
Right.
It's really fun to see these like kind of small games blow up out of nowhere.
Well, especially because, again, like this game's not done. Like
Right,
this
it's
game
early
just
access,
launched into
yeah.
early access.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
Valheim was like that too. It was like, I think it still is in early access.
Yeah, the zeitgeist for these games rise and fall before the games are even out.
But for such a but the thing is like, yes, that's true. They definitely rise and they definitely fall. But when you're talking about super small teams, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like even if it drops off significantly, that's still a huge
Oh my
win
God.
for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Humongous win.
the huge financial injection that they
Yeah.
get is just incredible, and it allows them to do way better
Mm-hmm.
things.
I'm curious, can you think of any stories like this where something has been so big in early access and then just never hit 1.0?
Oh, never came out actually?
Yeah, like never like quote unquote came out.
DayZ was in turmoil for many, many, many years. That's-
RimWorld, kind of, but I think it finally came out. But
Yeah, DayZ's the one that comes to mind.
Yeah, it's just interesting to me to think about that, because like Valheim in particular, they just made so much money, and then since they don't have a big team, you have to imagine that like, they've just got to like figure out how to use that money to build out the rest of the game. But
Right.
if like you're saying, if it's like kind of sloping downward before it even hits 1.0, like do they have enough from that initial tentpole, or is at some point
Well, the
before,
interesting
like,
thing-
not get all the features they wanted in there?
About V Rising is not only can you buy it and play the early access version, but there's like a founders pack that you can buy, right? So that's
Oh, it's like a
capitalize-
separate purchase?
It's like a separate
Oh, wow.
purchase that you can capitalize on the zeitgeist with. So I imagine that helps.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
that's a great idea. Yeah, but I can't think of a game that like maybe didn't come out necessarily that I could think of off the top of my head.
Quickly Googling it, DayZ and Besiege were like some of the longest ones.
Oh,
They were
okay.
5 years each. Rust was 4 years. Fortnite was 3.
Oh, I guess you got Star Citizen, right?
Subnautica was 3 years. Star Citizen,
Star Citizen
dude.
is the
That's
answer.
the one,
yeah,
yeah.
that's the answer.
Shout out to thegamer.com for the list. I
That's
was just
funny,
pulling
dude.
from. But yeah, Star Citizen, dude, for sure. That's the one. How long has that been going?
It's been a while. And the scope just gets ever bigger.
I feel like it's been like 11 years. Or
Yeah, I remember this was like when we were back at Game Trailers. I remember.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Wow, you bullseyed it. 11 total years so far.
Wow.
You bullseyed it.
Crazy over a decade.
But is there any other hook to you? Do you think that made this happen, or is it just really that the right streamers got interested? Is there any? Because it's just like, yeah, you've got Valheim, you've got all the imitators.
Oh god.
Yeah. Is there any other hook? I mean, it's hard to answer that.
You're
other
a vampire, Bloodworth.
but I mean,
Hook enough.
There's a lot of vampire games too. Yeah.
here's what I think it is, right? Like Valheim was extremely popular, right? But it kind of reminds me of like Neo compared to From Software, where like, yeah, on the surface these are very similar, but there's enough unique mechanics here that put a meaningful spin on it. I haven't played Valheim, but like I said, I think the way in which it incorporates you being a vampire in a way that goes deeper than, a superficial level makes it a fun twist, I would imagine.
Yeah, and I think like survival crafting games are super popular.
So big.
Super popular. I think of like Rust and this, obviously like Valheim. I think that genre, and especially in a game where it's like a kind of like in a sandbox, you can kind of just do whatever a lot of times, like huge
And it's
potential.
directly catering to different types of people, right? Where it's like one of the first thing you do is, do you want a PvE server or do you want to roam around with your friends in PvP, right? And so
Yeah.
that's already casting a pretty
big-
big net.
yeah, that's cool.
Of,
Yeah.
of types of people, because I think the thing that is easy to forget if you're not somebody actively engaging in it, a lot of people only play games with their friends or mostly play games with their friends, and it's a very social thing. And so I think that's why you see a lot of these big zeitgeists is you see those group of friends looking for, the next thing that they can just pop on Steam and invite somebody over into. And if you fit neatly into that category, I think you're primed to do well.
The
Yeah.
barriers are usually not too high of an entry price wise.
Yeah,
also.
I think it's like $20.
Yeah.
Could be wrong.
Yeah. So that's interesting because, like you said, they have the Founders Pack.
Yeah, which
right
is
there.
30, I believe. Yeah.
And then, like, I remember when they sent the code for you, they also sent like a 25% discount code off of renting a server.
Yeah.
It's like, so
rent
it's
a
like they've
server.
got their add-ons lined
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Cool.
Were they providing the service themselves, or was it from a different service?
I don't know the details,
Oh, okay.
but I would imagine one way or the other, if they didn't do it themselves,
Yeah.
then they got a good partnership going to sell those servers.
Good for
Yeah.
you, V-Ryzen.
Yeah, it's cool.
Get paid.
It's been a kind of a weird week in terms of news. So it's not exactly slow, but I don't know that like a lot of these things have like a lot of like
Right.
digging in to do. With Summer Game Fest coming up, it's like unless something leaks.
Calm before the storm right
Yeah,
now.
it feels like that. It feels like that a lot. So we're basically going to do like an extended also this week. So we might talk about some of these things a little bit more. Might just pass through them. But yeah, so also this week, Glenn Schofield has clarified that upcoming horror title, The Callisto Protocol, no longer takes place in the PUBG universe.
My heart is broken.
Oh no.
My day is ruined.
My lore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
That seems like a
In
very
fact,
good decision.
I'm happier.
Yeah. I think most
Yeah.
people are like, thank goodness. We don't have to worry
Don't
about this
bother.
nonsense.
Don't bother.
Will there be a winner chicken dinner reference
Yes,
in
absolutely,
Callisto
man.
Protocol.
There will be like the face mask too.
Sure.
probably.
They did say there's going to be a couple of little
there's
Easter
gonna
eggs
be,
in there
yeah.
for sure.
There will be. Yep.
Yeah. And it is the Game Informer cover story, so I haven't seen that issue
Yeah,
yet,
yeah.
but there's got to be a lot more info
Yeah.
on that game in there.
Yeah.
So it'll be.
Excited to see it.
I'm very curious once that goes public because I don't have a subscription right now.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
jump in there and find out more about that game. Hopefully, see it at Summer Game Fest in 2 weeks.
Yes, you are right, Bloodworth. That
And
seems
just-
like a guarantee.
It's just one of those things because, like,
Yeah,
we have the Dead
that's a good
Space
team.
remake coming, but in a lot of ways, I'm more curious about this.
Yeah, a new
I want to see what they're
project.
going to do.
Yeah, totally.
It's so funny how the gaming industry ebbs and flows, where it's just like years and years and years without any Dead Space, and then suddenly 2 Dead Space things essentially coming.
Thanks, Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Suda51 teased that he could reveal Grasshopper's next title by the end of this year.
Now,
Or maybe early next year, or whatever. He just likes to tease people all the time.
Yeah, it is.
will he like actually reveal it, or will it be like people in front of the actual trailer, right? And so you can't.
Just can't see it.
I hope it's the second
It's
one.
great. Yeah, that's great.
You think it'll be new IP probably?
Who knows?
I don't know.
You could be-
Okay.
Grasshopper is unpredictable.
What are the like the visual novel games that you like so much?
The Silver Case.
Silver Case.
Silver Case, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the only one that I've played through is the Silver Case, but it was very good. Yes,
Gold Case.
the Gold Case. Yeah, who knows? I'm just happy that Suda and by extension Grasshopper can continue to make games. I think it's a very valuable flavor in the giant meal that is video games. He makes interesting stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, similar to how we're talking about just the wacky stuff Kojima coming up
Yeah.
with. Just same thing with Suda. It's like, okay, what do you?
Yeah.
It could be any genre. Who knows?
Yeah, it could be
Yeah.
anything. It could very well be a visual novel. It could be bullet hell. It could be, No More Heroes. Like, it could be anything. It could be No More Heroes and be those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Capcom has opened up a 10th anniversary website for Dragon's Dogma.
Yep.
It's so coming.
On the
exciting.
So
NVIDIA.
coming.
On the NVIDIA list.
And during a recent investor Q&A, Capcom was asked about dormant IP and replied, "We're currently putting together plans for our pipeline based on demand data from the market. Going forward, we will continue to take customers' wishes into consideration while devising our title lineup," which is kind of a non-answer, but
Yeah.
maybe gives some room
Blood,
for
that
more,
was
more
so
things.
boilerplate that I completely tuned out as you were saying.
Yeah, it's,
Right.
it's happening though. That's all you need to know.
Basically, they're doing market research to see what people want. Yeah. That's about it.
I wonder what their response to the response of Exoprimal was.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People were talking like Dino Crisis might be on the PlayStation
The classic.
Classic stuff
yeah.
too.
Oh yeah, totally.
Where are they getting that from? Is that like
From the Asia
Okay.
like
I didn't
ratings
know
or
if that was
listings or
just
something
like
along those
raw
lines.
hope
No.
or what it was.
That'd be sick. It'd be great.
Cool.
Take-Two has completed their acquisition of Zynga, which we found about last year, for $12.7 billion, which makes it the second biggest acquisition in games history, only behind the Microsoft buying Activision, which is $70 billion, which is yet to go through.
Right.
And yet I feel nothing.
I
Take-Two buying Zynga.
It means nothing to me
I've got nothing.
personally. Right now.
spending any amount of money on Zynga seems wrong.
It's wild.
Yeah. well,
Farmville. Farmville's still making the money, I guess.
Jeez.
Like, is it?
Must be.
It must be.
It must be.
Quiet Titans.
Yeah, Quiet Titans.
Yeah, I just Googled current Zynga games, and it feels like I'm in
Yeah.
2009.
Some things never change.
A group of 19 Raven Software QA employees have voted to unionize and form the Game Workers Alliance, with votes counted by the National Labor Relations Board. If no objections are filed by May 31st, it will actually become official.
I think there's something about Phil Spencer saying they would acknowledge that too recently.
Oh, yeah.
when they buy them.
Yeah, there's been some pushback, obviously, from
Right.
Activision
Yeah, of
saying
course.
it's like only a handful of people from that studio shouldn't represent the whole studio and that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
positive direction there.
Yeah, sure. See how it works out for.
Yeah.
Hopefully everything goes good.
Quote, due to a technical error, players in Asia who have previously purchased a PlayStation Plus membership at a discount have been incorrectly charged for their upgrade pricing. But they will be getting refunds.
Yeah.
If you saw
did it, Huber.
Yeah, if you saw Fast and Loose this week, yeah, Huber was very upset
Well,
about
I
this.
told him this would probably happen.
Yeah.
And I was right.
People were getting charged years.
I know. How insane is
PlayStation
that?
Plus
Yeah,
memberships
it's so
just wanting
ridiculous.
to upgrade.
So ridiculous, but
And the thing was specifically about this was like if you had bought it for
cheaper.
10% of the normal price, you'd had to basically pay back above
That
and
much,
beyond.
yeah. And if you bought years,
Pay the
worth,
difference.
Yeah, it was insane. There's like no way that would fly. No way.
Reports indicate that EA is looking to possibly sell or merge,
Right.
and saying that they've been having talks with companies such as Disney, Amazon, and Apple. The biggest deal that might have gone through was with NBC Universal, and they were potentially would have created like a spin-off company with EA CEO Andrew Wilson in charge.
Oh, boy.
They basically just couldn't settle on a price.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I think about EA and like the only thing I can think of that I care about is Respawn at this moment. Mm-hmm. But I mean, there's no doubt there's tons of money to be made with that. Like
Yeah.
all those sports titles and everything, and Apex and all that.
Just imagine going to Disneyland and there's like a microtransaction land.
Might as well already be that.
Online
Sure,
Rageville. You go
Right.
to.
yeah, and it sounds like one of the things is that he's looking for that CEO spot.
Yeah,
like that's
he wants
like one of the
that
things
spot.
that's got to
Yeah,
be in
totally.
the deal, whatever they do. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting.
Yeah, totally.
Can you imagine that amount of like power to just be like, hey,
I
I want you
can't.
to buy my company, but I get to be the boss. Otherwise, we don't do it.
Right.
It's just like,
yeah,
okay.
like Andrew Wilson being CEO over like NBC Universal. It's like, wow.
Yeah, what?
I
Yeah.
can't imagine having a conversation where billions of dollars are on the line. Like, I don't think I could handle it.
Yeah. Well, that's the same too. That like a lot of commentators have come out saying like, yeah, this is just stuff that happens all the time. Like everyone at that level are just constantly having these
Shopping around.
conversations.
Yeah, totally.
It's like, hey, you want to buy us?
Especially now, it seems
Not
like
enough
way more
zeros, loser.
hot. Yeah.
Yeah, just watch Succession. It's like all the time.
It's crazy.
Wow.
There's Top Gun crossover content now available in both Microsoft Flight Simulator and Ace Combat 7.
Sick. Ace Combat, baby.
Yeah, keeping it alive. Nintendo 64 emulation on Switch still having issues.
Oh.
Kirby 64 is the latest, experiencing a bug in underwater levels.
Oh no.
Kirby basically gets like stun locked.
Oh.
So,
And if underwater levels weren't bad enough
Right.
on their own,
yeah, so essentially, yeah,
That's not
he gets
good.
stuck in the stun animation. You can't do anything. You have to reset and start the level over.
That sucks.
And it sounds like it's happening so frequently that like it has to be an emulation problem. It couldn't have
Yeah.
been in the
Hopefully they'll
original game.
fix it like they did some
Yeah.
of the other stuff. Hopefully, but yeah.
Yeah, that is the nice thing is they've at least been going up in
Yeah,
patching,
at least
but
they have like a history of fixing it. Hopefully they do it quickly though.
it feels like they need more QA time on this stuff.
They sure do.
Yeah.
Especially it's not like they're coming out super fast, so figure it out.
The Quarry's online multiplayer mode has been delayed, but the game's still coming out on June 10th. They promised to add the feature before July 8th. So
Damn.
So we still get to do our slumber party, though.
yeah, we still get to do the local multiplayer, but if you were
Yeah.
looking to play online,
That is no doubt a bummer.
got a couple of weeks to wait it out.
Yeah.
But we're going to be waiting it out anyways because
Yeah,
Summer
we'll
Game
be
Fest
busy.
is happening
Yeah,
when
we'll
that
be
game
busy.
comes out.
Sorry, Corey. Get to you whenever.
it sounded like you were apologizing not to the Quarry, but a guy named Corey.
Yeah, I was like, who's Corey?
sorry, Corey.
I know someone named Corey.
Yeah.
Come on,
no.
Corey.
Sorry, Corey. I know you're really hyped for this game.
Is he?
No.
That's a playthrough waiting to happen. Corey playing Corey.
Corey
Corey,
playing
Corey.
Corey. Yeah.
Corey in the Quarry.
Ben,
Yes.
That Marvel MMO that was announced last November has been canceled.
I'm bummed about this.
Yeah.
I just would be really curious how it turned out. Like, imagine an evolution of like DC Universe Online could be potentially very neat, and so just it not happening is a bummer.
Yeah. Yeah, and there are going to be DC Universe Online guys on that. There's people that were on like City of Heroes as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wonder what happened or how it fell through, or if it was just like Marvel was like,
Not coming together.
this isn't going to justify. I don't know. I'm curious what
Yeah. From what they
happened there.
said, and this comes from N Global 7, which I guess is like a partnership between Daybreak and some other companies. But they stated that they reevaluated the risk and their long-term goals and decided to just reallocate those resources to other projects.
Big risk making an MMO.
There was a Marvel mobile game because they have several Marvel mobile games, and there was one that they shut down recently. I think so.
Yeah. I think that's the thing is like Marvel isn't just the win button. It's not the cash button.
No.
Right? Avengers
Well,
shows
It
that.
definitely adds
Yeah.
something, yeah, but there's still risks. And the MMO field is very risky.
Yeah, definitely. I just feel like what is the name of it? Why am I blanking on the name? The one that Brandon plays all the time. That I've also
The
played.
auto battle one?
Yeah. I feel
Future
like
something?
Future Revolution.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that is a good lesson of like the thing is like everybody wants what the Avengers was supposed to be. Like I do think there is room there for a persistent online console PC Marvel game outside of the story-driven stuff like Spider-Man or Wolverine and so on and so forth. So it's just a bummer that it's not coming.
Yeah.
together.
I wonder if this game people like want to play as these superheroes, and I imagine in this game you would be, your own.
You would be your own. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder
Well,
if
the
But
way-
I feel like how's DC Universe?
So the way
work?
DC
Yeah.
Universe works, it's actually like a really cool way where you choose to either be a hero or villain, and then depending on like what power you give yourself, you're mentored by a different hero / villain.
cool.
So like Batman or Superman, Wonder Woman or Joker, and so on and so forth. And so I think that would be neat, where you do like maybe some of the same things as your favorite heroes, or you're in the same vein, almost like a martial arts school, but you're not explicitly that hero, even though you get to interact with them and hear their voice and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I do wonder, since it's some of the same companies, if it just felt like it was just going to bleed over too much to try to continue supporting DC Universe, which they are, and then also come
right.
out with this Marvel game, and it's like
Maybe.
all your players are just going to move from one game to the next.
Well, I also have to imagine like launching a MMO in 2022.
Well, I mean, with this thing where it was at, it probably would have launched in like 2025. Yeah.
Sure, there you go. And also just like the amount of resources that an MMO takes. And
Yep.
it's like, I don't know. I could see how from their perspective, like evaluating the risk, like there's a high risk that you just lose money.
Yeah,
on it,
totally. Yeah,
if it doesn't work out.
I wonder if Avengers did affect this at all.
Right.
Where they're like, whoa, hold up.
Right.
The IP may not be strong enough to carry it alone.
I wonder though if like Sony leaning more into live service and already having a ton of success with Insomniac, if that's the route that they would go, where like Sony could get an exclusive live service Marvel game that could maybe capitalize on things that they've already learned. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, there's totally potential there.
Yeah, there's another thing that came out. I think there's a quote from a book that they're talking about how Xbox passed on the
Yes,
Spider-Man
yes,
license
yes.
before they got to Sony.
Yep.
And what was even funnier to
Whoops.
me about that is that they ended the deal with Activision early.
Right.
And so, because Activision had all those Spider-Man games for years and years, and Activision had told the Marvel guys is like,
Good luck.
good luck finding your unicorn.
Yeah. Oh, they found it. They found it.
So funny.
Yeah, that's really funny.
But it just goes to show, it's like if you get the budget and you get the right people that really love this
Yeah.
character and really know how to make a good feeling game,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 And then Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is going to release October 28th. But they revealed their release date by putting half of their key art on a shipping dock and the other half on a ship. And they had the ship pull up to the dock to complete the key art. And they filmed the whole thing with drones.
Man, that feels like 2010.
It's
energy.
so strange. What a publicity
This
stunt.
is what happens when you give people too much money.
Yeah.
It's just stupid bullshit.
marketing budget?
Yeah.
What do we do?
Well, it also kind of the thing that happens when you have to promote a game every year, and then the game starts declining. It's like, well, what can we do to get people's attention? It's like, I got
Hey,
it.
we're talking about it, I guess.
We'll get a ship. We'll
There
get
you
a
go.
ship. It's time for love and respect. Love and respect. From Johnny, S. I'll say
Here's
S.
Johnny.
No, Schroepfer. Say Schroepfer.
Schrofer.
Hi, allies. I recently wrapped up Horizon Forbidden West and couldn't get over the animations where Aloy receives some large item, weapon, or gift upon completion of a main or side quest and just casually hides it behind her back while conversing with an NPC. For a game that's so immersive and high quality and has so much polish, I was left with a question for you. What are other examples of egregious animations or moments in a game where it takes you away from being immersed in the story?
Animation-wise?
Yeah, just things, it's like everything else seems great, and then you just got some weird things like, oh,
I don't know. I do definitely feel like there are players that get bothered by this stuff in a way that I don't. An infamous example of this is like Brandon seemed like legitimately angry that the lack of Bloodborne lip syncing,
Right.
and like
He was
I
like, yeah,
I just-
actually mad about
I just
it.
didn't. It did not change my opinion of the game at all. It didn't move an inch, and so those types of things. I think just because I play so many games, and I am always in favor of sacrificing, like maybe some immersion for the sake of playability or convenience. I
Right.
totally think that that's okay. That I don't know if I could think of anything off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'd rather have that than, like, you can't have, it just can't work that way. Like, your character can't carry all that stuff you're carrying in a believable way.
Death Stranding did it.
Death Stranding did it, but there's no way, like an RPG, like AR,
Right.
like stuff that Horizon has is like, no, it's probably not going to happen. And I agree. I'm happy it doesn't have all that restriction.
It reminds me too, though, with what you're saying when they updated Horizon for the gathering animations. Mm-hmm. Because you can now you can
Yeah,
flip
people
a
were
toggle
complaining,
and just like
yeah.
click and just pick up
Because
things.
she would have to bend down and like collect something every time, and people got sick of it. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of something. I there's definitely been things that have been weird.
For me, it's just stuff that's like a glitch. Like if,
Right.
if a character moves without walking or something like that.
Like
yeah.
Geralt's horse getting stuck on a roof.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing, right? Because I think about stuff like this when it's like just a gameplay choice where she's like, putting something behind her back and it's gone. It's like, yeah, but I mean, like, it's a video game that like 10 or 15 years from now we're all going to look at, and the graphical fidelity won't be nearly what we have at the time. So it's all just like abstraction, right? It's all just like artistic choices.
It makes me wonder though
you
if there's
know.
a better way to handle that than showing it like directly in front of the player, to where
Yeah.
like she puts it to the side or something, and then after a camera cut, it's just in your inventory.
Well, it's like it makes me think of that T-shirt that Huber has, where it's Jill Valentine with all of her inventory on her back, and she's just like, like sweating. It's really funny, but it's like, yeah, she is carrying like a huge amount of stuff
Yeah.
with her.
Made me think of Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song, where in a lot of ways I think it's a good-looking game, and I think when characters aren't moving, the detail on the models can be impressive, but there is just something about the way that they animate
Right.
that it's not like a singular thing. It is just all interactions that you have, where it's just like there's something about the fluidity of this in a very broad sense that makes it feel unnatural. That to me is more bothersome than like a single instance of something being out of place for the sake of convenience.
Yeah, and if it's a decision that someone made versus like a graphical limitation or uncanny valley stuff, that's a big different thing. Like I much prefer them making a choice that she puts it behind her back and it disappears than just like she holds it and then it disappears without even doing anything, right? Like definitely doing something is better.
Yeah. Yeah, I know there's times where, even in reviews that I've had these moments and just thinking about it like off the top of my head. I'm not coming to mind.
There's so
other
many.
than the funniest
I feel like.
glitches,
Just make a bag of holding in all your games. There you go.
From Austin. Hi, Allies. First time Love and Respect poster, I believe. I just wanted to ask if any of the Allies' expectations for huge reveals have dwindled since E3 2022 was canceled, and we largely don't know what's happening with Summer Game Fest 2022. Where are you at right now in terms of expectations for this next month?
Great question. Yes and no. Like, I was talking to Isla about this, I think. On one hand, like, just because I want Silent Hill so desperately, I wish I didn't know about any of these leaks. I think it would have made like that single moment way more exciting. But I also think that, like, I love games as much as I always have, and I feel like I am constantly overwhelmed with things to play. And so the fact that we are going to get any reveals, like, I'm sure I'm going to be able to find something that resonates with me or that excites me, just because I feel like there's so much going on, it's hard to keep up. And so in that sense, it's hard to be cynical. I certainly don't feel like nothing is happening.
Yeah, I mean, my expectations have been just kind of set over the years of what to expect. I mean, E3 is not the same as it was, and it hasn't been for a while. Like, even like last year, like, my expectations are pretty in line. But there's definitely going to be some stuff revealed that I'll be excited for. It's just not going to be like maybe in that small gap like it used to be of just an overload of information, which is really fun and I like. But there's still gonna be stuff I'm really excited about. Like, I'm honestly the most excited just to see Final Fantasy 16. Like, I already know about that game.
Right.
Like, I'm good.
Well, that Xbox showcase.
Yeah, the
They
Xbox
have
showcase.
So much stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, when you have the Xbox and Sony things is you don't know who's going to be in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be any developer.
Yeah.
Not just their own.
And there was that Dragon Quest event today. I don't know if you saw any of it.
Oh, no.
They showed some new Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quest Treasures, I believe it's
Treasures.
called,
They said more like info.
More in June, yeah.
June.
Is
So it's
that
like-
a console game or a mobile game?
I think it's a console. It looked like a console game.
My
But it could be mobile.
first reaction was mobile, but I don't know.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, because that's specifically what I want to know as well. And yeah, I mean, I think, Brad, you bring up Final Fantasy 16 is a good point. Like, there are things that are already coming.
Yeah.
That it's like, I just can't wait for that.
More.
Right? Like, Dragon Quest 12 is coming.
Yeah, it's
Right.
coming.
So,
Dragon's Dogma 2 is coming.
woo! Hasn't been officially announced, but yes, for sure.
In our hearts, it has.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the main thing to me is we still have these question marks on Sony and Nintendo.
Yeah. Dates. What's actually
it's
coming
like
out this year?
2 week. Well, I mean, just like
For
their
Sony.
presentations.
Right, yeah.
It's 2 weeks away, and we don't know if Sony is going to do something
Anything, yeah.
in that general time frame or not.
I feel like Nintendo will, though. 'Cause
Yeah.
They're more... But Sony, yeah, don't know.
But yeah, and then that's the problem is like Nintendo's just gotten into this habit of we're going to announce our thing 2 days before it happens, and
yeah.
everyone just has to scramble to
Yeah.
to get in line.
I am having difficulty finding out if Dragon Quest Treasures is on, like what systems it's on, but I do know that the Japanese subtitle is Blue Eyes and the Compass of the Skies. So
Love it.
I
Blue Eyes,
demand
White Dragon.
that is the only way we refer to it. Say it one more time.
Dragon Quest Treasures, Blue Eyes and the Compass of the Skies.
Dragon Quest XI's subtitle from Japanese was pretty interesting as well, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
I don't even
That's so
remember what
funny.
a subtitle was.
Echoes of an Elusive
Yep,
Age.
there it is.
Yeah. But
Beautiful.
then with Japanese transliteration,
Yeah, there was
I
a
wonder,
Japanese
yeah.
translation. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think just kind of overall, it's just Yeah, it's just that change in the energy change.
Yeah, it's
when you
different.
have just entirely, pre-produced things versus a show floor and a live press conference. Like the God of War thing.
Yeah.
Just they made a documentary about that. Yeah, because it was so crazy and so intense, and there's just a different level. Of putting on a presentation
I
like
found
that.
it.
What is it?
It's Dragon Quest XI, In Search of a Passing Time.
Wonderful.
That doesn't
Echoes
sound
of,
familiar, but
It
it's
doesn't
fun.
sound familiar.
that's what it
but
says here. Echoes of
Yeah.
an Elusive Age, In Search of a Passing Time.
I think the other thing is Blood, like mentally and spiritually, I've already lamented the death of E3. Like,
Sure.
it
Yeah.
hasn't been
Yeah.
what it was for a long time now, and that really bums me out. And I actually do think that we are losing something of value, but it's not a new feeling for me anymore.
Right. Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking of a second ago, and I'm not even sure I know how to phrase this, but like, what did more damage, quote unquote, for for all of our expectations of E3? Like, was it being let down, or was it actually like that one year where Sony and everyone's press conferences were like so amazing that it blew everyone's minds forever, and it set the bar just too high?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I just think it. I don't think the bar was set too high. I just think the nature of disseminating game news has changed.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
But on the Xbox side too, it's like it's that same kind of thing where like you bring Keanu Reeves out on stage
Right.
at an event. It's a
Yeah.
whole different feeling than like cutting to a video of
Right.
Keanu Reeves.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's
Totally.
if you. Yeah, it wouldn't have been nearly the same moment if. it
You
had
bring
happened in a
Vin
video.
Diesel out on stage
Keely's got that.
On a dinosaur.
on a dinosaur.
On a dinosaur.
I would love that.
In a car on a dinosaur.
From Y2 Kyle 89, salutations allies.
Hello.
We often talk about good games getting remakes, but what about bad games?
Glover.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Watch Trash Babies.
I often wonder what a Sonic Boom that was actually good would be like.
The problem with
I can't picture that. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so it's an interesting like hypothetical, but from a like let's put this into production standpoint, it doesn't make any sense because you're not only having to completely fix a game, right? So if you're remaking it and making it good, you are transforming the game. So you're basically making a new game. So why wouldn't you make a new game rather than having to re-educate the entire public on what this game is, could be, all of this stuff, because people are going to see it, on a digital marketplace or on a shelf, and they're going to be like, oh yeah, I heard that sucks, right? So you're already fighting against this tidal wave of expectation that it just doesn't make any sense from a dollars and cents standpoint.
I feel like the only way to do it would be to I don't know an example offhand, but like take a game that everyone loves, but everyone kind of agrees like just didn't reach its potential. Like it
That's
was
a very different thing,
Diamond in
though.
the rough. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got two words for that. Near
I knew you were gonna say
replicant.
near.
Oh yeah.
Battling Wonderworld.
That
Well,
near
no.
replicant is a very, very
Clever,
different
they did it.
situation where there were things to be improved, but it was still very beloved. It still
Right.
had.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not Sonic Boom.
You're right.
Like there's enough Sonic games, so
They
we
could
don't need to go
probably
back to Sonic
do
Boom.
Drakengard or something, maybe.
Yeah. I was thinking, what about like Alpha Protocol?
Sure.
Sure. Heck,
And one, this wouldn't happen because it's way too obscure, but one that I enjoyed and just felt like I had to give a low score to was Opuna. Remember that Wii game that like you only played with
I've
the
never
nunchuck?
played it, but I know
It
what
looked
you're
like
talking
it looked like it was like a scrapped Dreamcast game. Like it just didn't even look like it was at
Beautiful.
the same level for the Wii graphics. But it was a very like cute, charming game. But it's one of those things where it's like it just got so like mired down in like fetch quests and stuff. And what was even weirder about it is it was like a lot of these jobs and things that you had to grind out were sort of in like the first half of the game. And then when you get to the second half of the game, it's like all this stuff starts happening, and it starts getting really interesting and everything. But then there are other things where it's just like it didn't have like a totally real ending. It's like you just kind of like pass out, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, good job back there. We're heading home now. It's like, wait, what? What's going on?
What?
I feel like
Yeah, I really like that game.
I feel like I want someone to give Jurassic Park Trespasser another go.
Sure.
It's a good idea. There's something there.
Yeah. That game was like I legitimately
there.
liked the concept of that game so much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think
that's a
that-
really good pick.
They were onto something with the hand control.
That part specifically is I think what tanked it.
Yeah, I think so. Listen, it was early on. We were trying to figure
But
out how to control a game.
If you want to do boob tattoo health,
yes.
maybe we could be in talks.
Yes. Full titty
Maybe
reset.
it needs a VR remake. Because then you don't have to worry so much about camera control. You just look down.
And you could just look down.
Yeah.
Get a crick in your neck. Just checking
Oh,
your
you
health
don't.
all the time.
You don't get a crick in your neck, Bloodworth. Trust me. I'm looking at him all the time. Blood's uncomfortable.
Let's play a game.
Ah!
I'm just whacking things while I'm spinning around.
Wrong thing.
From Matt Curran, aka HickRW, I really like this game. Kentucky Derby or RPG Skill Tree?
Oh, man.
Can we get Don in here on this?
Don, go in there.
Get in here, Don. Get over on
Go
this.
in there.
Get on this mic. Share with Ben.
Go in there.
Get him.
He looks thrilled.
He looks thrilled. No, he's not gonna do it. Come on, Don.
Donnie. Is he complaining?
He's coming. He's
coming.
just taking
He's
his damn
coming.
time about it.
Just get right in the middle here, Don.
All right.
Whoa, you bumped camera 4.
Oh no.
Oh,
really
he's
out
all
of focus
blurry.
Leave it. Leave it.
I can't fix it from here, so.
Oh boy.
We didn't need that one.
Maybe we get a static for this game and then you can.
Yeah, I'll just. But I want to play it.
Oh, sure. But anyways, Kentucky Derby or RPG Skill Tree. This week, it's a classic either-or game. The Kentucky Derby happened this past month and inspired me somehow to come up with this idea. I'm going to read a name, and you will tell me if it's the name of a racehorse that won the Kentucky Derby or a branch in a video game skill tree.
Oh, boy.
That's
Oh
amazing.
boy.
Good luck.
I mean, I know a few of these.
No cheating, Don. Don't look at that laptop.
Yeah.
We got a lot of them. So first one, Rich Strike.
That's
Rich Strike.
That's a horse.
That's a horse
real
for sure.
That sounds like a horse, yeah.
That's a horse. That's
That does sound like a horse. Rich Strike?
Yep, that's a 2022 Derby winner.
okay.
That's such a good name,
Don's
dude.
got all the horses
What?
memorized.
You didn't let me pick. You gotta let everybody pick.
Okay, sorry.
Get on mic.
Oh, sorry.
Everybody stay on mic.
Pack Mule.
That's
a skill
That's
tree.
skill tree.
Skill
Yeah,
tree.
that's
definitely
I
RPG.
agree.
Is that Fallout?
That's Cyberpunk 2077,
I
increasing
think that
carrying
might be in
capacity.
Fallout as well.
Yeah, I'm sure that one's probably a little
I
common.
think it is Fallout. I think you're right.
I think it's in Fallout too.
Lucky 7.
I mean,
Both?
Yeah, both, but I'm going to say horse on
skill
this
tree.
one.
I'm going to say skill tree on that.
I'm gonna say skill tree.
Yep, it's a skill, and Fire Emblem Awakening gives the character increased evasion and hit rate until turn 7.
I didn't know that game had skill trees.
We win.
War Emblem.
War Emblem?
I should go last. Maybe.
I'm gonna say horse.
Don was chomping at the bit, so to speak. I'd say horse from that reaction.
War Emblem. Oh, God. Yeah, I'll say horse, too.
I feel like I've seen this
Yeah,
in games.
2002 Derby winner.
Yeah.
Oh, did you know that particular horse?
I remember War Emblem. Well, there's a lot of war. That's a popular name.
Okay.
Okay.
Popular lineage.
Oh,
Popular
that's a
lineage.
good
yeah.
information.
Street Sense.
Street
Street
Sense?
Sense?
Street Sense.
That's a
RPG.
skill.
Yeah,
That's a
RPG.
skill.
And a horse,
Skill tree?
possibly, but it's
I
definitely
know
a
it almost
skill.
sounds like both, but I'm gonna go with skill tree.
That is the 2007 Derby winner.
Oh,
What?
I'm sure there's an RPG.
Yeah, it
Street
sounds like
sense.
it.
They say they tried to cross-reference as much as they could.
No, I believe
Okay.
it.
Check them
I
out.
thought it might have been
Tried.
Adrenaline Fiend.
Adrenaline Fiend. That sounds like an RPG thing.
Adrenaline is such like a common
This is such a
skill
good game.
word. I'm gonna go skill tree.
I'm gonna go skill tree.
That
also.
feels like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
skill, yeah.
Yeah.
Skill in Assassin's Creed Valhalla
Oh.
gives you witch time dodges.
Oh yeah.
Broker's Tip.
Horse, baby.
Definitely
Horse.
sounds like a horse. I could see
I'm
that
gonna-
in Fallout as well,
I'm
though.
gonna do RPG.
I'm gonna go RPG as well.
It's a 1933
Oh my
Derby
God.
winner.
Oh, the 30s, dude. That's such a 30s horse name. Oh my god.
Low Profile.
Oh, that's a
man.
tricky one.
That is a
tricky.
very.
I
That's
actually-
a good horse.
I actually
name.
feel confident that that's RPG.
Yeah, I think it's a skill.
I'm gonna say RPG, but
Yeah.
that's an excellent
RPG.
horse name. That's a good horse name.
It's a skill in Horizon Zero Dawn, further decreasing visibility when crouched.
If there's a horse called like RPG skill tree or something, I'm gonna freak out.
Foolish Pleasure.
Horse.
Horse.
That's gotta
Horse.
be a horse.
Foolish pleasure coming down the lane.
1975.
Yeah.
That's an excellent name too.
Disco started playing in my head, but the announcer was still a 30s guy who's like, nah, guilty pleasure, whatever.
Iron Liege.
Iron Liege.
Horse.
Skill tree.
Skill tree.
I'm gonna say horse.
1957
Wow.
Derby winner.
All right.
Video games don't have that kind of vocabulary.
What?
Archaic and strange.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, they do.
I could see so many Iron Lieges out there, but I guess not. Spread Your Wings.
That's a skill tree.
Oh.
That's 100% a skill tree.
Spread your wings. I'm gonna say our skill tree.
I'm gonna say horse.
I'm gonna say horse. Yeah.
That's from Divinity Original Sin 2.
Yes.
Dang it.
Party member temporarily sprouts wings and hovers, preventing floor surface debuffs.
It's a good game.
It's a good horse name.
This is a good one. Rocket Return.
Rocket return.
Skill.
Skill tree.
Horse.
I'm gonna say skill tree.
Spider-Man allows you to web and throw missiles back at enemies.
Oh. More literal than I thought.
Savage Stoic.
Horse.
Horse.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're all
Horse.
going horse. We're all going horse.
Cyberpunk 2077 again. Increased damage with rifles and submachine guns when standing still.
I had that skill and I don't remember it.
Sunday Silence.
Horse.
That's a horse.
Horse.
Gotta be
1989 Derby winner.
Okay.
The year of my birth.
They don't use days in RPGs skills.
It'd be funny if they did, and that skill only procs on in-game Sundays.
Yeah.
Death Wish.
Both.
Skill.
It's
Both?
definitely a
Skill.
skill, but
I'm
both.
gonna say
maybe?
skill.
Skill.
It's a movie, right?
Yeah, it's a movie also.
Divinity Original Sin 2 again. Gives a party member a damage buff equal to percent of lost HP. Dust Commander.
Oh, I love that one.
Dust
Horse.
Commander.
Horse.
Please
Yeah,
be horse.
horse.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
Oh!
skill. I'm gonna say skill.
That could be a skill in like Mad Max or something.
1970 Derby winner.
Yeah. Dust Commander.
good name.
Air
good.
Dance.
That's
Air dance?
definitely a skill.
Yeah, that's a
That's
That's
skill.
gotta
100%
be a
a
skill.
skill.
Yeah, I'm gonna say skill also.
Final Fantasy 15 allows you to airstrip after an attack indefinitely. Exterminator.
Both.
That sounds like both for sure. But I guess I'll go horse.
I'm gonna go horse as well.
I'm gonna go skill.
I'm gonna say skill.
1918 Derby winner.
Oh, my streak.
There has to
Four
be a
wrong.
skill.
I'll have another.
Horse.
Oh,
I'll have
Skill.
another. That sounds like a skill.
that's definitely
with
a
a
horse.
deep.
I'm pretty
That's like
sure
a
it's
deep skill tree game.
That's a horse.
2012 Derby winner.
Damn.
Whirl Away.
That is a skill. Whirl away is a skill.
Skill.
Or it's a horse from like 1914.
Yeah, I'm
or
gonna go for a horse from the teens.
Yeah.
1941.
41.
Whirl away.
Whirl away.
whirlwind is so
4 lengths
common.
ahead
Yeah.
now.
I thought for sure.
Unpleasant dream.
Skill.
Skill?
That has to be a
I
skill,
hope that's
right?
a horse.
I'm gonna go skill
That's an
also.
amazing horse name if that's a horse.
Yeah. Xenoblade Chronicles X increases damage to sleeping enemies.
Wow, brutal.
War Admiral.
That's a horse.
Horse,
War, there's
baby.
that war.
Please.
Yeah, it's a horse.
Please
That's
be
a
a
horse.
horse.
1937.
Yes.
Don't
Did they make a
you
movie
well.
about that one?
I love this. Seething Earth.
That's a skill.
That's a skill.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
a
It's good.
I think
skill.
I know this game.
God of War 2018.
Yeah, there it is. I'm like,
When
I
its
definitely have seen
Spartan range allows you to throw a boulder at enemies.
Oh, that move's cool.
I love this too. Gato del Sol.
Please be
Horse?
horse.
That's a
Please
skill.
be horse.
That's a skill.
I'm going horse.
1982.
Yes.
Very 80s name.
Blazing Aura.
Skill.
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 Scale.
That's Fallout, I think.
Xenoblade Chronicles.
Damn it.
Everything.
Everything is
We're like,
Fallout.
It's Fallout.
Fallout. It's all Fallout.
Fills the party gauge when activating an aura. And the last one, Typhoon 2.
Horse.
Horse, baby.
Oh, nope.
Or it's a
skill.
skill. Could
be a-
I'm going to say skill.
I'm
I'm
gonna
going to
say
switch mine to
skill
skill.
also.
It could
I want to
be,
stick with
yeah.
horse.
Skill.
Please be horse.
1897.
Yes.
1897.
That's the year I was
That was
born.
a fun game.
That was
Thank
a
you,
fun
Don.
game. That was a
Thank
fun
you,
game.
Don.
Don, fix camera 4, please.
It's time for bets. This week's bet. Diablo Immortal comes out next Thursday, June 2nd. This time next week, I'm going to check the game's profile on the Google Play Store and look at the reviews. What will be the difference between the number of 5-star reviews and the number of 1-star reviews? So we'll take whichever one is higher and subtract the other one. And then just for fun, will the 5-star reviews be higher or will the 1-star reviews have more? Ben.
For no reason at all, I picked the number 437. 5-star will be higher.
Brad.
I picked 150, and I think the low star will be higher, but not that much though.
Isla.
What? Wrong camera. I mean, how could I not? 666, baby. And I think 5-star will be higher because maybe the like fanboys will come through, but
I don't think it's that. I think it's like just the mobile audience is so different. Like there's going to be a ton
Yeah.
of people.
Yeah. But
Well-
probably the 1-stars will be higher for sure.
I'm in the ridiculous high ballpark here. 22,221.
What the heck?
I said 1-stars will be higher.
Huh.
That is amazingly high.
I have no idea what to expect for day
Yeah,
one reviews.
Clearly.
Because I was looking things up, but it's like everything I was looking up has like been out forever and is super popular. So I was like, I don't know. Last week's bet. Roller Champions came out Wednesday, May 25th. We played a little bit on Island Dawn stream. I think Mike and Mike played some today too. Last week I asked how large the minimum download size would be as listed on the PlayStation Store on PS5. Brad bet 18 gigabytes. Damiani bet 17 gigabytes. Isla bet 2.6 Googie Fruits. And I bet 14.11 gigabytes. It ended up being 7.29 gigabytes. Winner is Isla,
Oh.
bringing the scores to Massive Chubbs 9, Splish, and Melodorous Sea Lions 9. Tied up again. Let me tell you about patreon.com/easyallies. Patreon is how we are supported. We are able to do everything that we do thanks to listeners and viewers just like yourself. So if you enjoy this podcast, if you enjoy our reviews, everything that you do, go over there and decide how much you think that's worth to you every month and give us a couple of bucks or a lot of bucks. And for the $1 patrons, you get this podcast with no ads, and you also get 2 bonus love and respect questions, which we just had a couple of long ones this time around, which is nice. And then if you do $5, you get early access, you get trash babies and spoiler modes, And you also get to submit to Love and Respect and the games, etc. And jump in there. Be sure on Tuesdays, I usually do the Love and Respect things. And get in there and put your questions in. Glad to see some new folks in there doing questions for the first time. And then on our highest tiers, we give those folks some shout-outs on every podcast. And this month's shout-outs are Javawabs, Elfanis, Greg, The Dark Knight Kettering, Caleb, Togi Crawford, Nick, and Anna Croft. Shout out.
Out.
Isla, you get to promote any Easy Allies video you would like to promote. You get the final word on anything you've disagreed with, want to reiterate, or just popped in your head. And you get to sign off with your trademark sign-off.
I would promote. Well, I haven't cut Mysterious Monsters yet, but we shot some. So look forward to that. But I would say another Patreon benefit that you get is Fast and Loose. And we just shot one, and it's up as of today when we're shooting this. And it was a lot of fun. Any patron can submit questions and watch the show. So it's cool. It's a weird, zany show. Final word. There's some good TV happening right now. Yellow Jackets, Severance, Under the Banner of Heaven, Shining Girls, Prehistoric Planet came out today, I guess. Stranger Things is tomorrow. Today, as you're seeing this, probably. I don't know.
Obi-Wan.
Go
as well.
outside. I would say. Obi-Wan as well, yeah. Good night and good game.
Get a crick in your neck. Just checking your health all the time.
You don't get a crick in your neck, Bloodworth, trust me.
The Easy Allies would like to thank our Patreon podcast producers. We apologize in advance for all the ally names we are about to misspell and mispronounce. Jabawabs, Anacroth, Caleb Togi Crawford, L. Thanis, Greg the Dark Knight Kettering, Nick, Shadow 2222, Stomps, Bradley Spees, Diego Perez, Jesper Popmel Dufay, Jesse Blue, Mellow Fellow, Rob Bob Will, Roy Sung. 44 stars, Alexander Zirianov, Andri, Arvind Rajan, Aurelien Grenier, Beaten Down Brian, Benjamin Arp, Blue, Brandon White, Brian Kruger, Bryce Hornsby, Katie Garza, Crashams, Dale Sun, Danny Vlar, Dave Red, Dimitri Zetas, Discarded Digit, Douglas Chomich, DRD 7 of 14, Edward Gonzalez, Ezdocal, Faraz Rizvi, Freya Lawson, Garrett Holfish, Gary James, G. Levin, Gregory Miller, Hayden Hargraves, Happy Gaming, Isaac Swanson, Joe Frantic, Joey Bruno, John Burns, Jose Gutierrez, Kroldemort, Lath, Luke Bennett, Mango, Marcel Markov, Mark J. Betters II, Matthew Holcomb, Matthew Pauling, Miguel Rivas, Mo Grant, Mr. One Luigi, Nathan Watkins, Oni Blackmage, Paul Sway, Pete Shoemaker, Ronka Q, Raymond Wheeler III, Robert Crouch, Robert Stoffel, Sage Mode Q, Sam Handrick, Samsa Stormbaum, Sigma, Silent Consonant, S Snake 24, Stepan Hakobian, Stephen Thomason, T-Beaks 15, The Banana Forklift Killer, Tom Eierman, Chum Nguyen, Valmar, Walker Hope, Rack, You Know Me, Zigazich, Anish Door, Aaron Haney, Accounts Payable, Adam Henry, Alex Monaco, Alex AI, Alexander Irving, Andreas Risberg, Anthony Galvin, Antonio Coyne, Arthur Lau, Barry Tomasini, Bob Starling, Brian Foster, Briscoe Davis, Brittany Fuller, Bunny Chen, C.S. Lewis, Chase Caldwell, Candy Coated Thorns, Chief Uhu, Christian Semniak, Christoph Fatui, Christopher Santis, Clay Roberts, Cody Westley, Corey Jackson, Corey Landega, Culinary Stud, Cutter Awesome Hicks, Cyberboa, Damnable Nook, Dan Sebring, Daniel Wong, David Wilson, DeLisi, DF, Edison S. Prada Jr., Eric Tobias, Eric Gustafson, Espen Gotchman, Ethereal Ether, Fishflop, Forever Ender, Forrest, Gabriel Aberg, Gabriel Smith, George Alexander, Glenn Olson, Graham, Gustav Strombaum, Hadi Ali, Helen Y, Hitman 47, Hugo Aguilar, I Sun Chor, Ian Anderson, Ivan Swade, Jay Aldiar, Jameson Lapine, Jan Nicholas Frog Shirt Tealk, JC3, Jeff ZOVGM Easton, Jeffrey Ruchtenwald, Gerald, Jeremy Ferris, Jesse Fish, Jesse Wilkeson, Jethrin, Joey Din, John Gallagher, John McCullough, Jojo Denko, Jordan Ekman, Jordan Phillips, Joshua Vanswall, Julius Garcia, Junya Motomura, Carl Williams, Kevin Gillet, Leon Keys, Linson Wu, Liam Ahern, Luis Ibarra, Lion Crown 19, Marcel Giru 017 Froelich, Marco Hernandez, Materia Addict, Matt Ferguson, Matt Karwoski, Matthew Eden, Matthew Holmes, Mazrim Tame, Megadet, Michael Clendenan, Michelle Nubb, Miguel, Mikey Mizek Novak, Misuki 211, Mithers Strongbeard, Mr. Anarchy, Mr. Matati, Nefertiti Jenkins, Nicholas Johnson, Nycrypt, Nevi Sun, Ulf himself, Orogachino, Pablo Rodriguez, Philip Higdon, Pojo TMC, RF Switch, Rafa David, Reed Johnson, Richard Ma, Rickard Enbaum, Ritz 1906, Russell Bateman, Salvers, Sam Sorensen, Samuel Copeland, Sean Pavlov, Sebastian Trier, Shauna N. Bowman, Sid Raghunandan, Seymour, Simon Anderson, Sneaky Gato, Spencer Stevens, Splontot, Stovetop Sugar, Strikeout NZ, Soltab, Super 3D Cow, Taffy 9K, Tense George, Tim Strothman, Tim Mann, Tim O'Keefe, TJ Sullivan, Toad Shadow, Toasty Soul, Tokyo Slim, Tony Knox, Travis Ing, Trevor Thomas, Tristan Howard, Trizac, Tuttle, Olton O'Connell, V8 Dave, Volker Bach, Wavy Chula, Willow Pingree, Wouter DeHaze, Zach Hardy.